Oh, hi there. I didn't see you. I'm just spending a little time relaxing this weekend. I've been feeling pretty wound up. I felt like I needed to unwind from this weekend's Yu-Gi-Oh! So, I know why you're here. You're interested in the wind-ups. The wind-ups, the wind-ups. A lot of names. A lot of ways to win. A lot of ways to lose. I discovered 2 ways to lose this weekend at our Colorado Springs Regional, going 6-2. And I went from being wound up to being in a huge sack of shit. So, I'm here to tell you what I've changed to that deck to not end up in a huge sack of shit, and what I'm going to change to my deck to keep from being a huge sack of shit. So, without any further ado, I give you... So there are loyal subscribers. I'm going to start by showing what cards, or exactly what deck I used for the regional, and then afterwards I'll show some of the cards that I'm going to change now that I've had the experience of going X2 at the regional, and how I think this will improve my chances at YCS Atlanta. So let's get the show on the road. 3 wind-up Shark, 3 wind-up Rat, 2 wind-up Magician, 2 wind-up Rabbit, 1 wind-up Hunter, 3 tour guides from the underworld, 1 tour bus from the underworld, because we ride the bus, 1 Sanguine, 3 Maxis, and 1 Effect Veiler. On to spells. I played 1 Heavy Storm, 2 Pots of Duality, 3 Wind-Up Factories, 3 Mystical Space Typhoons, 1 Book of Moon, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Dark Hole. And onto the traps, 2 Solemn Warning, 1 Solemn Judgment, 1 Trap Dust Shoot, 2 Dimensional Prison, and 2 Fiendish Chain. As for extra deck, I played 3 Wind-Up Zen Mighties, and I was borrowing 1, so I also played 1 Pink Sleep, 1 Wind-Up Zen Mains, 2 Leviathans, 1 Giga Brilliant, 1 Utopia, 1 Steel Swarm Roach, 1 Tiras, who's definitely the best one out of the rank 5s, 1 Adrius, 1 Wind-Up Arsenal Zen Mai, 1 Chimera Tech Fortress, 1 Ally of Justice Cataster, and 1 Trishula Dragon of the... As for side decks, I played 4 tokens, actually, and a Gorse token, which is right here, which I believe you should play at every tournament, so people have no idea what you're playing. Yay, token. I played, inside deck, 1 Chaos Trap Hole as a random tech for agents and stuff. Agents and sectors, Hero Beat, because of RFGs and stuff, but a second Effect Veiler to put into main deck. 1 Mind Control for mirror matches and for insectors and even for agents. 3 Leeching Lights for agents, which was sucked, and it's one of the things I'll show you that I changed later. 2 Debunks, 2 Compulsories, 2 Cyber Dragons, 1 Dust Tornado, and 2 Smashing Grounds. So, what did I think of the deck? It's very combo-y, so you have to be, get ready to, if you're one of those players who's used to playing conservative, you have to get used to playing conservative. And if you're one of the players who plays aggressive, this deck might favor you, but know that hand traps like Maxi and Effect Veiler will hurt you, which everyone who's played the deck for a while already knows. I found that my wins a lot of times consisted of doing the loop, not necessarily first turn, but maybe coming in second or third turn after I felt like the coast was clear, or I'd drawn out an Effect Veiler or Maxi. And sometimes it just involved, actually it almost always involved that. Sometimes I would just stall and wait with Zen Mains for a while waiting for the opportunity to push. Sometimes I would have to slow down and make a bunch of little small pushes with like Wind-Up Rat. But usually if you ever see a hole and a chance to make a play, you just start going for the hand unless they don't have one. One of the things I really didn't like in this deck was I didn't like double Wind-Up Magician. And I'm aware of the Tour Guide Shark play. The issue I had with it is that whenever you draw this, if you ever draw it with a rat, it's awful. Opening with rat is terrible, but this just compounds that. And opening with this is pretty bad. The only reason I ever liked to play it was that sometimes I could do like a cool combo with it, or I'd always pull it from the deck. So I really never really wanted to draw it, so I ended up cutting down to 1. It makes your level 4, like your rank 4 Exceed play tougher, and a lot of people use these 2 as a way to get around Thunder King, as if the opponent starts with a Thunder King on their side of the board, you can normal summon Magician, Special Shark, you trigger this to get second Magician, and then trigger to get another, and then use this to force Thunder King off the board by going to Utopia or something. But I played a lot of side deck answers for Thunder King, and I don't think that many people main deck Thunder King. I also main decked a couple answers of Thunder King like Deep Prison. So I ended up cutting this down to 1 later on, just so that I could pull it out with Zen Mighty as a first turn play and like protect it with a back row like a Warning or Fiendish Chain. Sometimes I would make this play, and I would detach and Special Magician, and then I would set a trap behind it, like Fiendish Chain or something, which I don't know where my traps are. Apparently I threw them away. But that's the only reason I ever really liked this card. And I know you can first turn with Magician Shark and loop their hand, but you commit much more when you make that loop as opposed to with a Tour Guide Shark play. Because if you summon Tour Guide, you're usually going to see a Maxi and a Veiler right now, especially if they know you're playing windups. When you do this, when you reveal this in hand, because it activates in hand to special, and they chain Maxi at that point, then they're already going to replace right there, and then you're in an awkward position where they can clear your board, with a double attack, or even just kill one of them and leave you with something awkward like just one Magician, which they'll kill next turn, or they can Dark Hole, and you're committing much more by making this play. So personally, I really am only going to play 1. And in exchange, add one of the cards from my side deck, basically Mind Control, to the main deck, because of how much windups and Insectors I expect to see going up in play, and it's still strong against Agents, anybody who plays Sangin, and just level 3s in general, and even level 4s and level 5s. So if someone's playing Samurais and they drop a Grandmaster on you. The other change that I was going to make immediately is I'm going to swap out Maxi for a second Effect Veiler. Because I feel Insectors are going to see more and more places they outperformed windups at Guadalajara, and they're a cheaper deck, and they're not as combo based. Insectors are going to be just as popular as windups, in my opinion. This is good against both, and it's better against Rogue than this is. So, but I still like this, so I'm probably going to just move to 2 and 2. And the last change I'm going to make is I'm actually going to take out Trap Dust Shoot, which is funny because I also have a video uploaded with Luke Mattingly where he says, it's just too good, every player should be using it. There are my traps. Where are you, Trap Dust Shoot? And I agreed with this 100% until I actually used it in this deck. When what I found was, and he describes this, you Trap Dust Shoot and you see their hand, and you have plays for like the next 5 turns that you're going to make, it's going to improve your decision making. Oh, I know they have Warning, and the next turn you're like, well, I know they still have this, and the turn after you're going to be like, I still know they still have this. And that gives you 3 turns of like improving decisions and making correct plays. This deck doesn't make more than 1 play. It makes 1, and it makes that big fat loop. Now, it can do other stuff, and that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is like, where if you played Plants or Agents or Insectors, you're playing every turn something happens, every turn something happens. In this deck, really 1 turn something major happens. So this card was not as strong. And of course, there's the obvious reason that if I loop, I'm never going to use this for the rest of the game. So even if I just do small pushes with Hunter, take cards, yeah. Some people might ask why I only played 1 Hunter. I think that's the new standard. I might increase to 2, but just because it's not that great of a draw, it's pretty awkward. Wind Up Rabbit is just to help set Factory off. And Pot of Duality, I'm sure people are probably confused on. Why Pot of... Oh, there's one more change I was going to make. I was going to take this out, right? I'm going to replace it, from now, with Enemy Controller. Because the same reason I like Mind Control, I like Enemy Controller. But in addition, I can use this defensively to protect a Zen Mighty for a turn. I can use it to deal with Sangin if they want me to kill it so they can search Maxi or Effect Veiler. I can use it to stop them from looping my face off with like an Insector deck or the Mirror Match. And I feel like the card is... Oh, and of course against Zen mains, it's insane. But this card is... and against Rabbit. It's really strong right now. I had it played against me a decent amount at regionals, and I kind of realized that it's still really good. And, sometimes you're going to end up with so many pluses off monsters. You don't really have anything to do with your Rabbits. And it can be tough to deal with big monsters. And those Rabbits and those pluses you got with Rabbits and Magicians and stuff, you can't do anything with them. So this can kind of help you use them if you loop and then you can't deal with a big monster. Or they put a big monster before you loop and you just have all these extra monsters that can't deal with 1. So, yeah, I'm going to test this out. So far, it's worked really well. Especially since a lot of people are playing Spirit Reaper against me, too. So, that's just in testing. But, anyways, also, let's go ahead and take a look at the changes I make to the side deck. I'm definitely taking out Leech in the Light because it was not nearly as useful as it sounded like it would be against Agents. I haven't played against a Worm deck and used this as well. It's just... I found myself stopping their plays a lot with Warnings and with Fiendish Chains or something like that. And then I wouldn't have the opportunity to loop, or I'd be too afraid to overcommit because of Orange Light or Effect Veiler, or I'd Book a Moon or something, and this was just... I never got to use it. And I played against like 3 Agent decks at Regionals. Speaking of which, those of you who wonder what I lost to an Agent deck. He had some really key top decks, and not to be rude, and I was pretty angry when it happened, but it really was mostly just bad luck. And then I took a loss to a friend of mine named Amit playing in sectors. One, because I thought he was playing windups. So I made a play to like take the board with a maxi in hand, and I put a bunch of Zen Maities and stuff because I thought he can't clear my board without using a bunch of windup effects. But he was playing in sectors, so he obviously didn't have to do that. And then he dropped BLS and Dad in the same turn. And the next game he beat me by dropping BLS in time. So those are my 2 losses. But anyways, I'll definitely be siding more for in sectors and play test against them and play with them more. But anyways, these will probably come out for 3 chain disappearances. Because chain disappearance against insectors is really good, and it's also strong against agents and strong against windups. So I'm going to side into. I think chain disappearance is going to make a big comeback before the ban list hits. What else am I changing in side deck? I guess that's about it. I mean, it's like I kind of freed up some room since I took out some cards from the main deck. I'll replace the Veiler with C. But I'm still playing around with side decks. Mostly just going to try and do things to improve my Insector matchup. Maybe something like Third Fiendish Chain or something like that. Oh, also, one more thing. I forgot to explain why I use Pot of Duality. I use Pot of Duality even though it might slow the deck down, so people might think. I didn't really try to take out any of the loop pieces for it. I tried to just make it so that, when I don't open the loop or I open a dead rat or magician or something like that, it can draw me into a playable card or help me hit Maxi or Veiler sooner, depending on the matchup I'm playing, so that, I'll have it before they play off. Up for the debate, it's as my good friend Henry would say, controversial. So, let me get back to my chair. Get back to relaxing. So, as you can see, this video is beginning to wind down. I hope you've had a great time watching this video. Hope you've learned a lot. I'm going to return to trying to achieve Zen. And I hope you always bring along your first matey. Rabbit. Rat shark. Oh, and I hope this video wasn't too loopy. That's it for Dr. Bro. Excuse me. Dr. Drew, MD. Excuse me. Dr. Andrew, MD. That's Dr. Drew signing out.